Okay, so the Oscar nominations dropped today, and I've done my best to avoid them as I wanted to get a candid reaction for this video, and for the most part, I think I succeeded. I did see a couple of the nominations for like one or two categories, but for the most part, I don't really know who's been nominated, and I don't know who's been snubbed, so we're gonna find that out right now in real time. Of course, 2023 was a pretty loaded year for film. There's a good chance that a few people that we want to be nominated won't be nominated, and that's always the fun with the Oscars. You know, no matter how much we tell ourselves these awards don't matter, we all tune into it anyways, because yeah, honestly, I couldn't tell you why. Like, why do I care? It doesn't really matter. But we're gonna get mad at it anyways, and we're gonna care who wins and who doesn't, regardless. And of course, I'll be giving my predictions here for who I think is gonna win and who my personal picks would be in each respective category. Also, I still haven't seen every film that came out last year, so I might be a little bit out of the loop on some of the nominations, but you know, we'll try our best. Okay, so we're just gonna go in order that the website has it, starting off with actor in a leading role. And right off the bat, we got Bradley Cooper, who, I'm not gonna lie, he should not be here, in my humble opinion. I'm sorry if you loved Maestro. I really didn't. I think it's like the purest form of Oscar bait, and I'm not just saying that because other people said it. I genuinely felt that way the first time I watched it, and before I had heard any reception of the film, I had no idea what people thought of it. Yeah, I went into it blind, and I left thoroughly disappointed because it's a beautifully shot film, and it's a film about a pretty interesting person nonetheless. I mean, this is like the most shameless attempt at an Oscar bait, and I mean, they took the bait, so I don't hate Bradley Cooper. In fact, I like a lot of his performances, but I think there's moments in this film that like are like almost even laughable. I don't want to spend too much time on that, but yeah, obviously I don't think he should be nominated here. Coleman Domingo for Rustin, I can't say. I've not seen Rustin yet. Definitely got to get to it. Paul Giamatti for The Holdovers, there's no surprise there. I mean, it's a phenomenal performance. It's one of the best of the year. One of the best parts of that film. Cillian Murphy in Oppenheimer is, of course, no surprise either. And then you got Jeffrey Wright for American Fiction, which I have not seen. And I admit that I'm slacking a bit there because I think it is screening near me, so I have to go watch it. And I'll have all of these watched before the actual Oscars in March, so I will make sure of that. As for this category, immediately the first name that comes to mind is Zac Efron is missing off this category. I'm gonna guess that a lot of people will probably be upset about that, and myself included, because I mean, if you watched The Iron Claw, it sort of speaks for itself. I think that film is now starting to get a bit more recognition, I feel like. Unfortunately, you know, it sort of came out just at the last stretch of the year. I don't know, maybe if it came out earlier, there'd be more buzz around it, more momentum for Zac Efron, but I think he was definitely deserving of a nomination here, and he did not get it. The Iron Claw is a terrific film, and it was one that I got to a bit late. I did not see it before the end of the year, so if you want to check out my year-end list, that video will be linked in the description along with the Letterboxd list where all the updated rankings will be. But yeah, Iron Claw definitely shot into my top 20. Okay, let me just check. I mean, like, are there any major snubs here? I mean, you know what? I think that's like the main snub, because really, this category is between Cillian and Giamatti. I mean, like, maybe these guys, Jeffrey Wright and Coleman Domingo, I can't speak to that, and that's my fault for not getting to these films. They are on the list. I'm gonna get to them, but I think really it's gonna be between Paul and Cillian, and my pick to win out of this bunch is Cillian Murphy, I think. Just because I think he kind of carries Oppenheimer, where Nolan sort of slags behind in the character writing. Cillian Murphy makes up for in his brilliant performance. But with Paul Giamatti, like, if he won, I wouldn't be upset. I think it's between these two guys, I think, really, and I'd be happy with either one. The only one here I don't really think should be winning is Bradley Cooper, but that's just me. Personal pick to win, Cillian Murphy, and who do I think is going to win? I think it's going to be Cillian Murphy. Unless Jeffrey Wright is, like, so much better in this movie than these other two guys. I don't know, I have to watch it. I think Jeffrey Wright is a phenomenal actor, but, you know, I can't speak to that. I can't speak to this movie. Okay, actor in a supporting role. This might be where things go wrong. I don't know. Sterling K. Brown, again, American Fiction, haven't seen it. Robert De Niro, Killers of the Flower Moon. Yeah, why not? You know, it's Robert De Niro. Pretty great performance. Robert Downey Jr. in Oppenheimer, no surprise there. Ryan Gosling in Barbie. Okay, so I don't know. I thought I saw somewhere that he wasn't nominated, but I mean, he's here, and that's cool. I think that's cool. Mark Ruffalo in Poor Things. Yeah, these are all, I think, deserving nominations. I can't speak on American Fiction again, obviously. As for who got snubbed in this category, I think ultimately I would have liked to see Glenn Howerton nominated for Blackberry, but I think that was like unrealistic. I kind of knew he wouldn't be here, but it would have been really cool to see. I think that would have been my personal pick if it had been in this category. He has one of the funniest, most bombastic performances of 2023. He absolutely injected an immense amount of energy into that film, and one of the big reasons I love it to death. Oh my god, wait. Wow. Wait, there's actually a lot of snubs here. Okay, because I'm looking at my year-end list to kind of remind me what movies came out. No, no Tale You? I'm not like surprised, I guess, but I would have loved to see a Tale You nomination. I mean, yeah, now that I think of it, if we're talking about snubs, it's like Tale You and Glenn Howerton. Between those two guys, it would have been very close. Maybe I would have even said Tale You, like if I were picking. Yeah, that to me is one of the biggest snubs so far. Tale You's performance in Past Lives is one of the reasons the film works so well. As for who my pick would be out of this bunch, I'd be fine with any of these, really. I know a lot of people are campaigning for Robert Downey Jr. I might say Ryan Gosling. I think he's like one of the best parts of that movie. As for who I think is actually going to win, it could be Ryan Gosling, but I would probably bet on Robert Downey Jr. just because I think Oppenheimer is going to have a lot of momentum, as it just sort of has throughout the past like 6 to 8 months. On to the next actress in a leading role, Annette Bening in Nyad. Wow, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see that coming. Mainly just because like no one's really talking about this movie. I mean, I'm aware of it, but I did not expect to see it here. I don't know, maybe she's deserving of a nomination. I haven't seen the movie, so I can't speak to it, but that's interesting. Lily Gladstone in Killers of the Flower Moon, of course, you know, that's a no-brainer. Sandra Hüller in Anatomy of a Fall, again, easy pick. And Carey Mulligan in Maestro. I guess she could kind of like slide into either the leading role or supporting role, depending on how you want to allocate the categories, but yeah, I think that's a deserving nomination. As much as I dislike Maestro, I think Carey Mulligan was like one of the shining stars, one of the bright spots of the film. And Emma Stone in Poor Things, which is like, yeah, of course, she needs to be there, no debate there. Oh my god. Okay, wait, what? Oh my god, what? No, okay, so there's no Natalie Portman, no Julianne Moore, and no Greta Lee. I mean, could any of those be in the supporting role? No, I don't think so. Wow, is May December getting snubbed here? We're not getting any May December? What? Okay, look, I haven't seen Nyad. I haven't heard great things about it. So I'm very curious as to like why Greta Lee, Julianne Moore, or Natalie Portman didn't make this. Okay, well, those are your big snubs for this category. Wow. Oscars moment. Yeah, I don't know, who else got snubbed? Oh, I mean, no Margot Robbie. No Margot Robbie for Barbie. Ryan Gosling nominated, but not Margot Robbie. I mean, it's like, in theory, it's a pretty stacked category, right? Like, there was a lot of great lead performances, particularly from actresses this year or last year. I don't know, maybe I'm not giving Annette Bening enough credit. I think Kaylee Spaney kind of got snubbed here as well, but I wouldn't really expect the Oscars to make that nomination. Obviously, performances like Kaylee Spaney's aren't nominated very often, but, you know, if I was making my own slate here, she would be there. Wow, that's crazy that May December is not showing up here, and Greta Lee isn't here. As for who I would pick out of this bunch, it would probably be, yeah, I don't know. It's like, it's between, oh my god, it's Emma Stone, Lily Gladstone, or Sandra Hüller. I have no idea who I would pick. I genuinely can't give you an answer for that. Like, they're all very different performances. I'm gonna say maybe my personal pick might be Sandra Hüller. I don't say that definitively though. As for who I think is gonna win, I think it could be Lily Gladstone, because it just seems like there's a lot of campaigning in her favor for that. So that's who I think is gonna win. Like, if I had to, you know, I'm placing my bets. This is the video. I'm saying who, and I think it might be Lily Gladstone. I would be surprised if it went to Annette Bening or Carey Mulligan. The other three, though, I think it's between them, and my guess is gonna be Gladstone. Actress in a supporting role, we got Emily Blunt in Oppenheimer, which is, again, no surprise there. Oppenheimer is going to show up a lot here. Daniela Brooks for The Color Purple, haven't seen it. I actually haven't even seen the original film. I think it's based on a book, right? So huge blind spot for me there. America Ferrera for Barbie, and not Margot Robbie in the other category. Okay, that's a Jodie Foster for Nyad? Oh my god, okay, I guess I have to watch Nyad. What the fuck? Okay, I gotta watch Nyad. Interesting. I mean, shout out to Jodie Foster. Divine Joy Randolph for The Holdovers. I mean, yeah, not too surprising there. Another great performance to come out of that film. But let's see. There's no May December nomination. So no Natalie Portman, no Julianne Moore, which, I mean, yeah, if they're not in the other category, then no one's gonna show up here. I mean, yeah, I guess the main snubs here is like May December, which I mean, like, maybe Nyad is great, I don't know, but like, out of the films I've seen here, you know, I haven't seen The Color Purple or Nyad, but I would swap America Ferrera or Emily Blunt out for Julianne Moore if, you know, we were to count her as a supporting role. And of course, you know, Natalie Portman, I think I would have liked to see get a nomination. You know, I did say that May December has some of the best performances of the year, or the best performances of the year, and to see that it's not showing up in any of these categories is kind of disappointing. I think out of this bunch, my personal pick is Divine Joy Randolph, and as for who I think is gonna win, I would probably say the same, right? I mean, like, I think her performance is like significantly above anyone else here. Like, she's such a big part of what makes that film so great. I don't know, like Emily Blunt, America Ferrera, I'm not like, to me those two don't really even come close. I can't speak to the other two, but yeah, that's my pick to win and my own personal pick. Okay, animated feature film. I feel like I know what to expect here. The Boy and the Heron, I mean, yeah, of course it's gonna be here. Elemental, that's interesting. I have not seen it. Like, I have a good amount of blind spots in terms of films that came out last year. A lot of films came out last year, so I haven't seen Elemental. I don't know if I really care to watch it. Nimona, also haven't seen. Robot Dreams, haven't seen. And of course, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, only having seen The Boy and the Heron and Across the Spider-Verse. I can't speak to the other three, but I would be willing to bet it's really between those two. My personal pick to win would probably be Across the Spider-Verse. And as for who I think is gonna win, it could go either way. I might actually say The Boy and the Heron. I think The Boy and the Heron has a solid chance to win. Just because, like, I don't know, I mean, it's a Miyazaki film, and I feel like the Oscars don't really like superhero stuff all that much. And if it won, I wouldn't be disappointed at all. I think they're both deserving films. As for the other three, again, I can't speak to them. Cinematography. Okay. Edward Lockman. I still haven't seen this movie. It's been on my Netflix watch lists since it came out. I still gotta get to it. So, but from what I've seen, it looks pretty cool, cinematography-wise. Rodrigo Prieto for Killers of the Flower Moon. No surprise there. Maestro. Matthew Libatique. I actually do think he should be nominated, and I'm not surprised to see him here. The cinematography in Maestro is actually pretty great, and I mean, his filmography in general is pretty damn good. He is a great cinematographer, so definitely worth a nomination. Hoytema for Oppenheimer. No surprise there. I feel like Hoytema is pretty consistently nominated. Of course, he's one of the most renowned cinematographers of this era. And Robbie Ryan for Poor Things. Valid stuff. I think these are all deserving nominations. I think my pick out of this bunch would be Robbie Ryan for Poor Things. I did say I think it had the best cinematography of the year. As for who I think is gonna win though, I could see it going to Oppenheimer. Okay, I want it to go to Poor Things. I do. I want it to go to Poor Things. And I think like this one is a close call. I think it could go to any of these. But like for some reason, I have this feeling that it's gonna go to Maestro. And not to say that like I'd be mad if it went to Maestro, but I'm obviously, you know, I'm rooting for Poor Things in this scenario. But my pick for who, or my guess for who I think is gonna win is maybe Maestro. I could be wrong there. As for snubs, I think Zone of Interest and Asteroid City not being here is kind of unfortunate. I think they're both worthy nominations for cinematography, as is the case for any Wes Anderson film. I think people are a bit fatigued by Wes Anderson, but I still think Asteroid City is worthy of a nomination for its cinematography. Robert Yeoman is a consistently great partner of Wes Anderson's, and Zone of Interest as well had some pretty amazing cinematography. But yeah, you know, I'm not mad at any of these nominations. Okay, costume design. This is a little bit out of my wheelhouse, but you know, we're just gonna kind of breeze through this. Barbie, Killers of the Flower Moon, Napoleon, Oppenheimer, Poor Things. My pick here is Poor Things. I'm not too well versed in like the credits of costume design, but just like based off specifically what I remember from each of these films, I think Poor Things is my pick. I don't think this would go to Oppenheimer. I don't think this would go to Killers of the Flower Moon. I could see it going to Napoleon. I could see it going to Barbie. I think out of those three, I would say Poor Things. I think Poor Things is gonna win, and it's also my pick. So, yeah. Okay. Directing. Anatomy of a Fall. Justine Triet, Killers of the Flower Moon, Martin Scorsese, Oppenheimer, Christopher Nolan, Poor Things, Yorgos Lanthimos, and The Zone of Interest, Jonathan Glazer. Every one of these are deserving of a nomination. Snubs, Celine Song. I think Todd Haynes for May December should be here. And, you know, apparently I'm a Wes Anderson defender now, so, you know, I think he should be here as well. Obviously, it would have been cool to see, like, David Fincher get a nomination or The Killer to show up on any of these categories, but like I'm not the least bit surprised. Like I don't think that film is gonna be nominated for anything. But as for who I think is gonna win, I think this one goes to Christopher Nolan, simply because he hasn't won an Oscar yet, and Oppenheimer is like the movie to win your Oscar with. And again, just like the buzz that Oppenheimer has, it's all in its favor. As for who my own personal pick is out of this bunch, it's Jonathan Glazer for The Zone of Interest. I think it's one of the best films of last year. It made my top 3, and it's still there. Yeah, I don't know. No Celine Song, no Todd Haynes, Wes Anderson, even like Sofia Coppola. I guess like Priscilla's not getting any nominations. Oh, that's another name. Jacob Elordi was not in. I just realized something. I spend so much time on this category. You know who's not here? Charles Melton. I'm just kind of like remembering now. No Charles Melton and no Jacob Elordi. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, I guess May December is completely out of the people's minds. I don't know, that really sucks. I was hard rooting for Charles Melton to get a nomination, and he probably would have been my pick out of this. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Honestly, you could swap out any of these guys for Charles Melton. Wow, I totally glossed over that. That slipped my mind. I know I was forgetting someone. And like, yeah, Jacob Elordi as well. Wow. Although Jacob Elordi, I'm not really that surprised by. Jesus, man. I guess for Elordi, there's like the Elvis fatigue. You know, we already had Elvis last year, but no Charles Melton. How did I forget about that? Like, that was like one of the main names I was looking for. Okay, documentary feature film. Okay, so I hate to admit that I have nothing to say about this category. Sorry, I didn't watch any documentaries this year, or last year, I mean, and that's my fault. I should watch these. I'll try to get to them. Again, I didn't watch any shorts. I didn't watch any documentaries. I'm sorry. Okay, we're gonna get to the editing. Okay, so for film editing, Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Killers of the Flower Moon, Oppenheimer, and Poor Things. You know, I'm like fine with any of these winning. As much as I wasn't a huge fan of the pacing of Oppenheimer, and I felt like the edit had something to do with that. It wasn't like the technical aspects of the edit. It was like, I think it's the script more than the edit. So like, I wouldn't even be mad if Oppenheimer won. I think it's still like well edited. But my pick would probably be maybe Anatomy of a Fall. I think it's a well edited film. Actually, no, I think Anatomy of a Fall would be my pick. I'm thinking of it now. Part of the reason why it works and part of the reason why it's suspenseful and thrilling is because of the edit. So I'd probably say that's my pick. Who I think is going to win? I don't know. I think it's between Anatomy of a Fall and Killers of the Flower Moon. Maybe Oppenheimer. International feature film. This one, they can't mess this one up, right? Okay, so international feature film. I have not seen a couple of these. I haven't, like, you know, I do want to get to Perfect Days. I don't think there's been a single screening near me of Perfect Days yet, so I can't speak to that. Society of the Snow, pretty great film. The Teacher's Lounge, heard good things. Another one I gotta get to. And then The Zone of Interest, which is easily my pick to win. It's in my top 3 on my year-end list. And it's also the film I think is gonna win as well. Okay, makeup and hairstyling, I think we'll sort of zoom through this one. I can't say that I have like strong feelings about this category, but my pick is Society of the Snow. I also think it could be the one to win, so I'm saying it's both. And the makeup in the film is sort of part of what gave me a visceral reaction to what was going on. If you haven't seen the film, you should check it out. It's pretty fascinating, based on a true story. Music, okay, yes, Poor Things, that's what I wanted to see. Oppenheimer, of course, that's gonna be there. Killers of the Flower Moon, yeah, for sure. I've not seen Indiana Jones and have not seen American Fiction, but these 3 I'm happy to see here. I feel like someone's getting snubbed, though. Is someone getting snubbed? I mean, not necessarily. I actually think The Boy and the Heron would have been cool to see here. But overall, my personal pick is going to be Poor Things, and who I think is going to win is probably going to Oppenheimer. Because, again, it's Oppenheimer. I think Oppenheimer is going to tear through the Oscars this year. It's a film that has been infinitely talked about. Okay, original song. I think, you know, these were already announced earlier in the year. The Fire Inside, I'm Just Ken for Barbie. I haven't seen this. I haven't seen Flaming Hot. Killers of the Flower Moon is here. What Was I Made For from Barbie, so Barbie's nominated twice. I think it's between these two. What Was I Made For and I'm Just Ken. I know a lot of people were upset that I'm Just Ken won at the Critics' Choice Awards, like over Billie Eilish for What Was I Made For. And I kind of understand that, but like, I mean, I'm Just Ken it's a pretty great song. It's not my pick though. I do think my pick would be What Was I Made For. Honestly, I think it's probably one of Billie Eilish's best songs even. It's been in my rotation, and you know, I don't listen to I'm Just Ken outside of when I saw the films. And as for which I think is gonna win, I think it might go to I'm Just Ken. The big snub here is a Theater Camp. Theater Camp should be here. Am I surprised it's not? No, I'm not. I'm not surprised. but it should be here. The big one, Best Picture. Let's go one by one. American Fiction. Wow, American Fiction. I gotta watch American Fiction. Sorry that I haven't seen it. Anatomy of a Fall. Nice. Barbie. I mean, American Fiction is like surprising to me just because it didn't seem like a film that was getting Best Picture hype, but you know, I am interested to see it. The Holdovers, yeah, not too surprising. Killers of the Flower Moon, not surprising. Maestro, yeah, I think this is the one that I saw. Maestro, Oppenheimer, Past Lives, okay, Poor Things, The Zone of Interest, and it ends there. Maestro shouldn't be here. I'm sorry to you Maestro heads, but no, it's just not a good movie. I mean, like, I guess it's watchable. Like, I don't even know if I could say that. Maestro shouldn't be here. It just shouldn't be here, but I'm sure the Oscars are not gonna give it to Maestro. That would be very silly. Out of this bunch, who do I think is gonna win? It's probably gonna be Oppenheimer. I think that's my pick. Or not my pick, but like, I think that's my prediction. It's the film you can't escape. And it could go to Barbie. I could see it going to Barbie. You know, out of this bunch, my pick would be The Zone of Interest. I don't really expect it to win though, just because it's just not a big enough film. Oppenheimer just has too much momentum, and like, I mean, Past Lives would be cool, Killers of the Flower Moon would be cool, The Holdovers would be cool, Anatomy of a Fall, like, I wouldn't be mad if these films won. I would, however, be like, I mean, I'd be a little bit baffled if Maestro won, but any of these other films, Poor Things would be really cool. But yeah, my pick is The Zone of Interest, and the film that I think is going to win is Oppenheimer. I mean, we can just kind of speed through these ones. You can look at this for yourself. My pick is Poor Things for production design. Actually, I think I hope Poor Things wins for production design. Like, yes, Barbie is worthy. I wouldn't be mad if Barbie won. One of the best things about Poor Things is its production design, so I'd like to see it go to Poor Things. Animated short film, I have no input in any of these. Sound, wow, the creator got nominated. Maestro? Oh, I mean, like, this has to go to Zone of Interest, right? Like, it has to. This one has to go to Zone of Interest. Oh, but it might go to Oppenheimer. Okay, if you're gonna give, like, if one award, like, is going to Zone of Interest, it's gotta at least be this one. Because I know it's probably not winning directing, it's not winning Best Picture. Was it even nominated for cinematography? No, I don't think so. It's gotta go to sound. Like, it's part of what made the film. So it's my personal pick. My prediction, I'm gonna say it's The Zone of Interest. I feel like this one you gotta get right. Visual effects, yeah, I remember Oppenheimer's not here. It's not that crazy. Like, it is, you know, the bomb was cool, but I think it was worthy of a nomination, but I'm not surprised, to be honest. Out of this bunch, my pick would probably be Mission Impossible. I mean, well, Godzilla -1. Ooh, this is actually a very close one. I think it could kind of go to any of these. Oh my god, yeah, I don't know. I want to say my personal pick would be Mission Impossible. And who do I think it's going to go to? I think it might go to Godzilla -1. Okay, adapted screenplay, American Fiction again, Barbie. I guess, like, it's an adapted screenplay because it's based off a toy? I don't know, I guess. Surprised to see it here. Oppenheimer, Poor Things, The Zone of Interest. I mean, my pick here would actually be Poor Things. Like, yes, The Zone of Interest is, you know, above these films on my list, my year-end list, but specifically, I mean, the screenplay for Poor Things is pretty damn good. So that's my personal pick. As for who I think is gonna win, again, like, the safe bet is Oppenheimer. Maybe, like, if there's one category that I would have to, like, not give to Oppenheimer, maybe I put my bet on, no, it's on Oppenheimer. Ooh, yeah. Okay, original screenplay. We're at the end. Original screenplay, Anatomy of a Fall, The Holdovers, Maestro's here again. Oh, May December. Oh my god. So, I mean, like, it got a single nomination, and then Past Lives. Okay, my battery is about to die on my camera. My pick is May December. Who I think is gonna win? Probably Past Lives. I think Past Lives would be my bet. Alright, so I'm recording this the next day. My battery died on my camera and I was kind of too tired to, like, wait for it to charge, so here we are. I guess to conclude things, I do want to mention some of the snubs that I forgot about while recording this. In particular, Leonardo DiCaprio in Killers of the Flower Moon. Bit surprising to see that he didn't make the cut there. I can't believe I forgot about Charles Melton when we were looking at the supporting actor category. It's not exactly surprising that films like Beau is Afraid or Infinity Pool or Saltburn didn't make the cut. Maybe it would have been cool to see John Wick make cinematography or visual effects. One film I was surprised to not see was Fallen Leaves, which I haven't seen yet, but I've heard nothing but good things. Kind of interesting that it didn't make the cut. I'll have to get around to watching it and seeing how badly it got snubbed or if it was worth a nomination at all. Some of the biggest discourse right now is the fact that Greta Gerwig didn't get nominated for Best Director and Margot Robbie didn't get nominated for Best Actress. Like I said earlier, the Best Actress category is pretty stacked this year. There's definitely a few names that, should be on there but aren't. So the fact that Margot Robbie's not there is not really that big of a deal to me. I don't think her performance was as amazing as some of the other ones that didn't even get named. As for Greta Gerwig, I am somewhat surprised she didn't get nominated for Best Directing, but she wouldn't have necessarily been my pick anyways. I don't even think Barbie is her best film. In fact, I guess out of the three that she's solo directed, it's probably my least favorite. I think the Barbie discourse is a little bit weird. I don't know, maybe it's just film Twitter. It got a handful of nominations. Also kind of weird that Killers of the Flower Moon wasn't nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, but overall, I'm curious to see how these nominations will play out come March, and yeah, I've let this video go on way too long, so since you made it to the end, you might as well leave a like, and you might as well subscribe. Feel free to follow me on other platforms linked in the description. I don't want to keep you any longer, so yeah, thanks for watching.